Hello friends! 20 years ago, everything has changed. 20 years ago, the Need for Speed history was divided on before and after. 20 years ago, the Blackbox studio created a new game, one of the most successful titles on PlayStation 2. This was the Need for Speed Underground, and this is my review of that game. I think that I should start with less important part of any game genre, including racing genre, graphics. Now, I agree that good-looking game can make your experience more fun and pleasant, but in my opinion, it is much less important than the actual gameplay. We should also bear in mind that a game came out 20 years ago. I mean, you can just check out the system requirements. Check this out, 256 megabytes of RAM. I mean, you just wouldn't be able to run a Google Chrome these days with 226 megabytes. I mean, come on. As I played this game with high resolution, sure, the requirements were higher, but nowhere as high as in current games. But what surprises me most is that this game, despite having rather low system requirements, graphically still looks decent. I actually think that this game looks actually pretty good for its age. The game has no annoying filter that, transforms everything into brownish mess or something. This game is colorful, and at the same time, it's not overwhelmed with colors. There is no time circle, of course, only one static night, but I think the developers managed to make it look good. I would say that this game looks still semi-realistic. Now, there are some agent troubles. First of all, for some reason, only your car has a rays of lightning coming from your front lights. It's not the case for your opponent's cars or the traffic, but it's not a big issue. I mean, you don't really drive close to your opponents anyway. Other troubles include the low resolution of some textures. Mainly I'm talking about the vinyl textures. These could have been slightly better. Sure, on old monitors with low resolutions, these pixels, they wouldn't be so noticeable. Though, if I remember correctly, they bothered me even as a kid. But nowadays it looks just... I should also mention two graphics settings. Even if you select highest graphics settings, they will be disabled by default, and you will have to turn them on manually. So what are they? Well, first of all, there are light trails. They make the light sources more bloomy and make them scattering? I don't know how to explain this. Actually, the difference is rather minor, and when you drive over 200 km per hour, you don't really see it. And other turn-off section is the bloom, and it's rather noticeable. Actually, I didn't even know that it existed before I started making this review, and when I turned it on for the first time, wow! It is a very strong effect. When I initially started playing with it, I couldn't even see the road properly, so yeah, I turned it off pretty soon. I think the game looks better without it, and it's more comfortable to play without it anyway, so yeah, bloom is not a good thing. However, if I were to sum up graphics, they look fine even today. Sure, the game may lack in details, but oh no, it's aged well. I personally think that this game aged better than some titles from PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. Now, there is one thing that should be done well in any racing game. It is the driving experience. It should be pleasant and fun to drive. Driving physics can be either arcade or realistic. It doesn't matter. I personally have two main criteria regarding driving physics in any racing game. By fun I mean that you should enjoy driving. In some games you enjoy driving because it is realistic and imitates real driving experience well. For people who are into this, there are hardcore racing, simulators. Though, in arcade games, it is harder to define what is the fun driving. For me personally, it means that it should be easy to drive, you just hit the gas button and there you go. But at the same time, you should feel well your speed and have some challenge and use your brakes, at least sometimes. But it should be easy even for a years-old kid to get the car moving. With fun, Underground 1 passes with flying cars. It is fun. cars are easy to handle and speed feeling is really good thanks to short races with many turns and sometimes good camera shaking, especially in drag races. If you turn off the stability control in settings, the car will slide a bit, and it is also really fun. And now for the consistency factor. By making the driving consistent, I mean that the driving physics, they should behave the same way every time. It doesn't matter whether it is realistic or arcade, the car should follow the logic and behave more or less the same in similar situations, so that you could predict its trajectory and so on. What I mean is that driving, it shouldn't be random, and Underground 1 copes with it fine. 97% of the time car behaves consistently. You know how it will turn, how it will slide, and you can control it. It is really rare when your car starts spinning. It hardly happens. And even if it happens, it is usually because you didn't let the foot off the gas. You should drive more carefully. But those 3%, well, sometimes your car behaves bouncy, really bouncy, and as a result, the car can turn you around. And well, it may result in you losing your race. And I cannot say that it happens often, but sometimes it does, and that's annoying. But if you hit a car in a high speed, whether it's your opponent's car or just a traffic, you will fly away. Your car will just fly away and you cannot really do anything about it. Physics in this game, they just work this way, and you have to live with it. It is a bit annoying, but on the other hand, I believe that it gives this game its own unique charm and experience. Well, I can say that the same thing happens to the Underground 2, but I think that's a story for another time. So I think physics in this game, they are alright. Need for Speed Underground has two racing modes. One of them is a quick race, other is the Underground mode. Well, quick race is simple. You pick the race, choose your car and go. Underground mode is more interesting. I think that we can call it a career mode. So let's talk about it. Underground mode consists of 111 racing events. Though in reality there are, I believe, 112 events, even though at the same time you can skip several events, specifically some time trials if you want. Well, you won't be able to unlock some special unique upgrades, but, well, yes, we can say that the amount of events is a little bit confusing. In the Underground mode, you can choose events via racing map. Throughout the game, you can encounter several characters, including some minor ones like Jose or Clutch, and some rivals, Clute, Chad, Todd, and Eddie. Your main goal is to become the best racing driver, and thus you have to reach Eddie and take him down. All of these characters will sometimes send you small messages before some races, and sometimes even after the finish line. Though the last one, they are really easy to miss. You will also have two allies throughout the game. Well, first of all is Samantha. She will support you most of the time and give you unique visual upgrades if you beat her time challenges, but at some point you will have to challenge Samantha in order to progress. Other ally is TJ. He will give you unique performance upgrades. At some point you also challenge him in order to regain your trust with Samantha and get the last unique visual upgrade, the body kit. The unique thing about the Underground mode is that every race has a specific set of rivals and cars, and every time it is the same, and your rivals always have the same visual upgrades. But it allows you to see that at the beginning of the game they have like slightly upgraded cars, but near the end they are, well, they differ very much from their stock appearance. So you can sort of see their progress as well. I think it's rather neat. Since I have already mentioned car upgrades slightly, I should mention, I guess, the whole car customization thing. There are 20 cars that you can customize. Not all the cars are available from the start, so you have to unlock them via completing career mode. In the same mode, in order to upgrade your car, you have to spend money that you get from winning races. There are two basic categories of upgrades: performance and styling. Each upgrade is unlocked again, as I said, after winning races in career mode. Performance does what it means. It improves the handling, acceleration, and the top speed of your car. There are 3 levels of performance upgrades: Street, Pro, and Race. Well, the third level is the most expensive and it's the best. You know, theoretically you can install the code with a performance producer, or manufacturer should I say, and save some money. Oh, so I thought originally. But if you install the visual decor and choose a performance upgrade from the same manufacturer, you will get no discount. Then why even bother? Why would you even allow to choose a manufacturer? It doesn't make any sense. Why? Now, for the visual part, there are also 3 levels. The more expensive it is, the better. You can choose bumpers, bonnets, spoilers, neon lighting, and several other visual upgrades. You can also change the paint of your body and some parts of it, and add some different vinyls. Installing visual upgrades would increase your car's visual reputation up to level 5. The higher your visual reputation is, the more style points you get through races in order to unlock new vinyls. Though 2 things I should point out which I find pretty peculiar. Well, first of all, vinyls, they don't increase your car reputation, so they are useless, apart from looking nice, but no practical use. And second thing is, it is just for my personal experience, but I think that body parts seem to improve your car handling. Slightly, tiny, but still improve. I think it's interesting. What's also interesting that in the Underground mode, you can trade your car for other cars and maintain your visual and performance upgrades. I believe that this is definitely a unique feature of the Underground one, because I've never seen anything like this before, not in other Need For Speed games, nor in any other racing game at all. Of course, by today's standard cars customization, it doesn't really impress, but 20 years ago, wow, that was really something new. I should also point out that you can customize your car from the quick race mode, but in order to unlock customization, you will firstly have either complete the Underground mode or buy each part individually from your career, and after that they will appear for your custom cars in quick race mode. So I think that now it's finally time to talk about racing types that can offer Underground 1. Well, I should say that there are 4 main types and 3 additional types and a tournament. Let's start with the first one, circuit races. In this racing type, you drive on the enclosed track 2 or more laps. Simple as that. Now, circuit races take the majority from all the career events, and they can be rather annoying, especially if you take part in so-called enduring race that has 5, 6 or 7 laps, over and over again. And God forbid if you hit a traffic car on the last corner, or you just lose your traction, you will have to start it all over again. And it can be really frustrating, but if you somehow lost your racing pace at the beginning, you shouldn't really give up, because there is a good chance that your opponent will hit a traffic car and you will be able to overpass him and win the race. Now, knockout races. They are basically the same, only there is a slight, small, tiny catch. You cannot finish each lap on the last place, or you'll be knocked out. This way the race will end in 1 or 2 minutes and you will have to start it all over again. However, knockout races, they are usually better, hence there can be only 3 laps and you don't have to spend lots of time on them. Last type of circuit races are the free run from quick mode, but it's not really a race. You can just learn the racing track and improve your time on it if you want. Then, sprint races. Now, I've always preferred sprint races over circuit races, because they last 1 or 2 or maximum 3 minutes, and they are short, quick and fun. And the same corner doesn't appear over and over again, so it doesn't get annoying. The only small problem is that if you failed at some point, you may not be able to overpass your opponents. And now time trials. They are similar to sprint, but you race against time. You can encounter such events only in career mode, and you basically compete against yourself. They are the most fair types of races. Why? Well, because there are no opponents and there is no rubberbanding effect. Okay, I think it's finally time that I should mention that one thing. Rubberbanding. You see, your driving physics and your opponent's driving physics, they are different. Opponents' cars follow different logic, and sometimes it can become ludicrous. No matter how hard you try, they will still go through corners faster than it's physically possible. It can be pretty annoying. Sometimes you may not be able to pass them just because they go too fast. It is just not fair. Race event number 86, for instance. It took me maybe a dozen or even more tries to beat it. Combining with random traffic, it was annoying. Or it can be vice versa. Sometimes the AI, they can just decide that, nah, we don't want to compete with you. And you can even lap them. It happened actually twice on my playthrough.
I overlapped the AI.
I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
However, it's not that bad as some people will say. You may find on the YouTube these videos with crazy rubberbanding effects. Here are some examples. Though, during my playthrough, I didn't meet such catastrophic effects. Yes, rubberbanding, it was visible, but it's not that bad. Besides, you can find this meme video, even Kurt's new killer ride. Like, some people claim that this event is just impossible. Well, I heard about it, and I also wanted to punish myself, maybe for the sake of entertainment, or I don't know. So I even decided to turn on the Bloom effect for the ultimate suffering experience. And guess what? I won this race with the first try. I don't know, maybe I just got lucky, maybe I'm just that good, I don't know. Again, what I wanted to say is that maybe a rubberbanding effect has something to do with the FPS, and I have 60 locked, or maybe I had even less, I'm not sure. Well, again, what I wanted to say is that the rubberbanding effect is not that bad as some people claim it is. Okay, moving on. Track races. It is a unique type that firstly appeared in this game, Underground 1. In this racing type, you are forced to use a manual gearbox. I should point out that in this game you can choose either manual or automatic gearbox. Well, I always choose manual because you can change gears more efficiently and save some seconds. Besides, the driving physics are easy, so again, you can pay some attention to changing gears. Well, in a track race, you always have to change your gears manually. It is really important part of the gameplay. The better you change your gear, the faster you go. You can also slipstream your opponents and gain some extra speed. But beware of traffic, because one traffic hit and you are done. And you have to start over again. And this way, the race that should take maybe 30 or 40 seconds, it transformed into 2 or 4 minutes long race. So this type of race, drag race, it can be frustrating, but at the same time, it is really engaging. And drifting. Again, drifting, it was a new type of event for the Need For Speed series. In drift events, game physics change, and it feels like your car is driving on ice. It is funny that, you can drift all-wheel drive cars or even front-wheel drive cars, but it is fun. And besides, nowadays many people try drifting in front-wheel drive cars, so to some extent this game, well, it was even ahead of its time. Anyway, the goal is to get as many points as you can. The faster you go, the bigger drift chain you have, the more points you get. But don't hit the wall, you will lose all your points, so be careful. Personally, I prefer drifting with all-wheel drive cars over the rear-wheel drive. As well, there's a good chance that you can lose your traction and your car will just, spin out. All-wheel drive cars are easier to control and they are more fun. Front-wheel drive cars, they can also be a good option. Personally, drifting is the most relaxing racing mode in this game. And besides, going through drift events, it can be the easiest way to get lots of style points. And last but not least, the tournament. Well, it's not really a race type, it is a series of different races of the same type. They appear only in career mode. They consist of 3 or 4 races. It is only a type of racing which you don't have to win each race, because you get points after completing each race, and if you get more points than your opponents, well, you win the tournament. Yeah, I should mention that in career mode you really have to win every single race, well, or you won't be able to progress. That's the thing. What's also interesting about tournaments is that during drag races, if you total your car, you will not be able to proceed to the next race. So you have to at least finish each race. It doesn't matter, you can be last, but you have to finish. And it's also a little bit unfair, because your opponents, they can proceed even if they totaled their cars. But no, you cannot total your car. Well, I think that's all what I can say about racing types. Now, in this section, I would like to say some words about other stuff that's not really that important, but I still would like to talk about it and share some of my personal opinion. Well, first of all, in this game there is an online mode, and I never tried it. I was never interested in online racing, but according to videos on the internet, it worked, I would say it worked clunky. But if you want to complete a career mode on 100% and get all the magazine covers, you will have to play it online. Why? Just why? I've always hated when, in order to get 100%, you have to play online. I mean, it is 2003. What online are you talking about? Okay, I've mentioned magazine covers. Let's talk about them. Throughout your career, you unlock different magazines, from achieving some visual rating, winning races, completing the game, and so on. Several covers you get while going higher up in rankings. Throughout the game, you become the best racer in 4 types. Again, circuit, sprint, drag, and drift. And, well, it doesn't mean anything, you just get some sense of progression. But I never even bothered checking rankings during my playthrough. Now, the music. Sadly, because of the YouTube copyright system, I cannot really show you any of the music, but in a nutshell, the music is good in this game. During racing, you listen to rock music, very fun, driving music. In the garage, you hear some slow, chill rap music. Well, of course, you can change it and have, for instance, rap during races, but it just feels so wrong. Need For Speed Underground 1 has one of the best racing soundtrack, in my opinion. And last but not least, the saving system. Underground 1 has a very strange and unique saving system. On one hand, you have your profile, or we can say your save game. It's rather simple, and the game saves your progress automatically after each race in career mode. But at the same time, you can save your game manually, but it will be something like a checkpoint inside your profile. It saves both your career data and custom cars. Well, why would you do this? Well, I don't know. You can replay some races and go back to the past, but I don't know, it's weird. I don't know why the system exists, but I see no practical reason behind it. But it exists, you can try it. Very peculiar indeed. Well, I think in this final part, I can say some of my personal experience with this game. Well, Need For Speed Underground 1, it was a game of my childhood. Well, it wasn't my first game, not even my first racing game, but it was definitely one of my favorite. I liked its visuals, I liked the music, I liked the gameplay, and I think the gameplay actually still holds up really well. And if this game would have been released today with the same physics, well, it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, I've completed this game several times, and well, it never disappointed me. To sum up, if you haven't tried this game, you should try it. Now, of course, there are some troubles with getting the disc. Well, it can be pretty messy, but if you get it, try it. You are really going to enjoy it. Okay guys, I'm really happy because it seems to me that I finally finished this video. I mean, it took me literally months to make, and well, I'm not even going to bother re-recording this line because it is my genuine emotions, and I'm so happy that it's finally over. And I really also do hope that it's not my final video, and I will make lots of them in the future. But for now, I believe it's everything. Again, thank you very much for watching. I would like to listen to criticism, any criticism, if you watched this video till the end. And I guess I can say leave a like and subscribe button. There will be lots of new videos, at least I hope. And I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching.
After 5 years on the East Coast, it was time to go home.